Hey, I'm here today to demo the new Glarry GIB6 string bass. Alright, let's go ahead and hear how this thing sounds. Before going further into this review, I would like to state that Glarry did send me this bass to review. They didn't give me any requirements, they just asked for me to review the bass and I can pretty much give my honest thoughts. So this is not the first GIB6 string that has been made by Glarry. There is another GIB6 string, but this one's called the Open-coil version. So what Open-coil is like a closed pickup versus an open pickup. So I'm sure you see it on guitars where there's a silver or gold pickup cover. So this is like an open pickup as opposed to the other one they have, which is closed. So another key difference between this model and the original model is this is laurelwood fretboard and the other one is advertised as rosewood. And the last major difference between this bass and the previous GIB is that these are active electronics. If you look here, there is a battery pack. The battery is not included with this bass, which I've never seen before with the bass, but I also get that Glarry is an affordable instrument brand and they're really trying to cut costs wherever they can. All right, before going into more specs, let's hear a few more sounds on this bass. So when it comes to impressions of Glarry instruments, you do have to remember they're geared for beginners. They are affordable instruments. This bass itself costs $150. But I will say for $150, this thing sounds fantastic. I actually have not had a 5-string in my arsenal for a bit, so it's really nice to have this low B string again, and I've been having a lot of fun with the chord shapes with the C string. So normally I don't get basses that are active. I prefer having passive instruments. I just like the simplicity of it. But for something like this 6-string bass, I can see why the active electronics are necessary. You know, when I'm playing on the low B and I'm playing like heavy riffs, I really do like adding those highs and having that treble so the notes are clearer. And then when I'm doing these chord shapes, depending on what suits the tone, I'll either add more bass because the C string just doesn't have that low end, or if I do want it to sound really thin, like that Cold Night demo I did at the end, I just was using the bridge pickup and I took out all the lows. In the past, Glarry has been infamous for having very thick bass necks. That bass was my first introduction to a really thick bass neck. So for those of you that don't know, there are newer instruments such as this GIB bass. They do have a slimmer neck. This bass also has that slimmer neck. It's not too bad to navigate, but again, it's also a 6-string, so it's a new feeling for me. Although I will say using a 5 or especially a 6-string bass, I do prefer a slimmer profile, like a slim C neck as opposed to just a standard C or even a modern C neck. I do wish it was a little thinner because it does impact my speed a little bit, but then again, I think any 6-string model would impact the speed. So going into the bridge is a little bit larger than the standard Glarry bridges. I wouldn't call it high mass by any means, but it does seem to be nicer than their other entry-level models. You can see the neck is also bolted on, 5 bolts here. And then just to show the neck dive, it does have some neck dive, as you can see. It's sliding over, so it's not totally balanced, but it's not the most uncomfortable. If I can get it playing like this standing up, I mean, that's okay with me. The bass does also come with a strap. It does come with an instrument cable, a pick, and then it does come with a case that actually goes on the back, so that's new. Previous Glarry instruments actually didn't have this strap. But I'm gonna be honest, these are 3 things I'm probably never gonna use for this bass. Main thing to focus on would be the bass itself. But I will say these are nice additions to have, considering the whole value of this instrument is $150, and they do free shipping to the US now. Alright, this bass has a lot of different tones, considering it has the pickup blend and the 3 active EQ. So I'll just go through as many tones as I can. So I was about to go into the final review and my thoughts on the instrument, but I forgot to actually mention the controls. This is the volume, this is the pickup blend, so we can go between the neck and the bridge, and then this is treble, this is mid, and this is bass. So normally I'm not really a fan of active electronics, but I think this is really necessary for this bass just because you have the lower register and the higher register. So for example, I already mentioned it before, but the Cold Night, I had to just pretty much cut the lows to make it an even sound so I was playing the highest strings and the lowest strings at the same time. So my overall thoughts on this bass. You know, I never thought I'd have a 6th string in my arsenal, and this thing was just a lot of fun to play, so I've really been enjoying it. The pickups honestly sound pretty dang good for this bass, and because I don't have a 5th string, I'm probably going to be using this for covers, which I haven't really done with my other Glarry instruments. So great job to Glarry for giving me a bass that I am going to be using in the future until I get another proper 5th string. Really, the highlights of this bass, I'd say, are the pickups. They just sound monstrous for $150. The bass weight itself, I didn't really talk about it, but this is a very light 6th string bass. So if you're not looking to break your back like a lot of 5th string players do, this would be a great option. And then another pro, this bass was set up pretty well out of the box. I haven't made any adjustments to it. The intonation is a little off, but I'm really impressed how well this got shipped out outside of the box as opposed to other companies like Fender, who's having a lot of QC issues right now. So now for the cons of this bass. Again, Glarry, they are an affordable instrument company. This bass is $150. I don't expect much out of it. The first thing that I didn't like, I guess I don't play a lot of active instruments enough, but the pickup blend, there is a flat setting where you can kind of feel where it locks in on the flat, but for the treble, mid, and bass, there's no real flat setting. So when I was saying like flat bass, flat mid, or flat treble, I wasn't actually sure if it was flat because it's not there, and I don't feel like it should be set to 0 for these. I feel like they should be all set to 50 for the mid. On my Fender active P bass and for my Sterling sub, they did, the middle was flat, so it was a, you know, like bass cut or bass boost. So I was kind of disappointed that they have it for the pickup blend, but not the other three. That didn't really make sense to me. Another thing I'd say is just the neck. Again, it's pretty good. What I love is that Glarry does listen to their customers and make improvements. And this is already a huge improvement compared to the old necks like this bass. But for a 6-string bass, I really do want the neck to be super slim. And then the third flaw, and this isn't really a big flaw, but the finishes. I think the finishes are fine for what they are. Again, they're making it affordable. They can't do like a sparkle finish. But I have seen the finishes for some of the guitars they make, and I mentioned this last time, and they just look so cool, and I wish some of the basses would get those colors. And because I know Glarry does listen to their customers, I just want to state it again, that you gotta make some cooler looking basses. So again, big thanks to Glarry for sending me this bass. Again, I've been having a ton of fun with it, and you're probably gonna see it in some of my TikToks or Instagram reels because it just sounds so good on the lower register, and I don't have a 5-string right now, and I'm not planning to get one soon. So let me know what you think of this bass in the comments.